Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Magic Mics, proudly sponsored by our Patreon supporters and CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, and our co-sponsor CardHoarder.com, offering the best inventory prices and delivery of cards for Magic Online. I am Evan Irwin, and we get started each week by saying hello to my two co-hosts, Aaron Campbell.
Hey, everybody.
Ruben Bressler.
Oh, buongiorno. Evan.
So, Ruben, I have a question for you. So,
Buongiorno.
if we're cosplaying as your family today and Evan's grandpa, do I get to be your really cool sister? Do I get to be Marika?
No, you're wine aunt.
Yeah, you're wine aunt, for sure.
I'm
You're
wine aunt.
definitely wine
100%
aunt.
I
wine
don't
aunt.
drink, though.
Right, that's
You're
okay.
still wine aunt.
Okay,
It's a
that's
state of mind.
Everybody starts somewhere. It's fine.
More than a blood alcohol level, wine aunt is a state of mind.
Goodness gracious.
So, even though I'm not physically drunk, I'm spiritually
You're mentally,
drunk.
yeah.
Okay.
Mentally,
Yes.
I'm here. Inside of a bottle of wine.
Ah, goodness. All right. Well, look, we also began with our first pick and giveaway. A $50 gift certificate is up for grabs for CoolStuffInc.com. Type ! raffle in the chat, but first subscribe, perhaps with Bezos bucks, to get 2 chances to win. You subscribe here, 2 chances. And don't forget our raid at the end of the show to support a member of the community. Enter your suggestions at the end of the show to see who we raid tonight. That really helps.
Now, Bezos Bucks is the best way to subscribe.
They are.
We'll also be giving you some financial advice later in the show. Very serious financial advice coming later in the show. You'll have to stick around for that.
Goodness gracious. Well, all I know is beyond the gift certificate that's free, we're going to move into the first pick. Wizards has just blown up the Secret Lairs. The Secret Lairs Superdrop, ladies and gentlemen,
Secret is out.
upon us. And it's a lot. And, you know, as we don't have infinite things to talk about, we can talk about this for a little bit. Now,
This is so many. How many did they announce? 5?
5, I think it is.
So many.
Yeah, a whole year of Secret Lair now. We've been dealing with this for a year. And they've had kitties and deities and slime and all that good stuff. Well, from November 30th to December 14th, that would be, I think, Cyber Monday, for 2 weeks thereafter, you can find these things that I have on the screen right now. The first being a box of rocks. This would be Arcane Signet, Chromatic Lantern, Commander Sphere, Darksteel Ingot, and Gilded Lotus, either in foil or non-foil. What do you guys think about the box of rocks?
I mean, this one seems easy to be a pickup. I mean, Arcane Signet, of course, is in every commander deck that exists. Gilded Lotus and Command Sphere, I think, are very popular as well. In tons of different, not every single one like Arcane Signet is, but more than 50%, one imagines. And then Command Sphere and the last one, Darksteel Ingot, are popular, but not nearly as popular as the other 3 in terms of number, I imagine, but all of them see a great amount of play.
Yeah, I mean, and the art style is really unique too. I almost have flashbacks to Pokemon, like almost an Asian, manga Japanese style, art here on some of these pieces. The Gilded Lotus is giving me a little bit of Seb McKinnon there. I don't know if he actually did that one, but that's the vibe I get from that one. No, he didn't do that, but it still looks like something Seb would do with sort of this cherub creature. But I mean, I think this is cute. These are cards that particularly in EDH will see play, and I think they're fine.
I mean, as sort of the default EDH player among us, are you very excited about this one?
Well, I mean, the only card that I personally really use is Arcane Signet and Chromatic Lantern. I have not been able to I can't think of anything. So looking outside of myself, yes, I think Commander players will like this a lot. I think for me personally, there's only 2 of these that really tickle my fancy, but I think there's definitely an audience for them, yeah.
All right, well, let's keep going here. That was just the first. We got plenty of Secret Lairs to go, y'all.
If these are for you, one of these will be.
Yes.
For $29.99 or $39.99 for the foils. Let's move on here to
And can we talk about that? Some of these are foil and some of these are foil only and some aren't.
Right.
Wizards literally said, Seb, do what you want. Figure out whatever you want to paint, and we'll make it happen. And my God, did they crush it.
Yeah, this was really interesting, and he's got sort of stories about why he wanted to do the various pieces.
Yeah.
First of all, you get a Seb McKinnon Swamp, which I think is a huge deal.
Oof, so nice.
Just having access to that. For my money, the Sower of Temptation is the most interesting art and story. Seb's brother, Liam,
he wrote the poem, right? That goes on the cards.
Wrote the poem, and is a big part of Seb's life and work. And Seb is sort of this tortured artist, of course, and being able to make this for his brother is a big deal.
For me, it's the Damnation. I mean, you look at that Damnation and just, my God, and the playmat behind it, and just the intricate pieces of this, and
Ultra Pro is making a playmat of the Damnation, which looks amazing.
And I really like that they did this right, where he said on that thread that like they just let him run free. And I remember one of my favorite content creators that I've ever had the pleasure to work with was Adam Staborski, and I remember when Stibbs took over at Cool Stuff at the time, and I was really worried, like I didn't know what kind of content editor he was going to be like. And one of the things he always used to say to us was, I like to stand back and let people be awesome. And so I like that, it doesn't sound like they really told Seb what to do, that he was really able to do this on his terms, and this is clearly his wheelhouse.
Right. I mean, obviously, there's a few guidelines, and he can't pick reserve list cards or whatever, but, seriously, they were like, pick whatever you want, tell a story, like, this is fantastic.
Awesome. Such a cool idea to be like, tell a story with these arts together, and I really enjoyed that they let him do that. And these both, the first two that we just talked about, are both available in foil and non-foil.
Right, $30 and $40 respectively.
Right.
So after the Seb McKinnon stuff, we move on to the Happy Little Gathering. This is the Bob Ross basic land art that we saw spoiled, unfortunately, inside Magic Arena a few weeks ago, or at least a week ago. But they're here, they're real, and everything is here. 2 of each land type, 2 swamps, 2 mountains, etc., except the Evolving Wilds that also showed up in Arena, but was not listed here in any way.
Oh, that is weird. Okay.
Yeah.
So very interesting. I would be to be a fly on the wall of Wizards Legal, getting access to Bob Ross's legacy of art, of which there are hundreds, if not thousands, of Bob Ross paintings. To be the art director, to be able to be scrolling through Bob Ross's catalog of past paintings to try to pick out 2 of each of mountains and forests and plains and all of that stuff. It's spectacular. As one of the 2 people who doesn't have Bob Ross MTG blocked on Twitter on this podcast, I have to say I am a big fan of these.
These are really spectacular, and the fact that people have already found the episodes in which he drew or painted these.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
wow.
They've already, like, if you go to the Reddit thread where they talked about it a week or 2 ago, they have them linked, and it's really sweet. Note here that if you buy foil or non-foil, you get a code to redeem 5 total Bob Ross basic lands in Arena, and you get a code to get 1 copy of each of those cards in Magic Online, whether they're non-foil or foil based on the version that you bought, which is kind of neat. But they note that the other 5 Bob Ross lands, how do you get them in Arena? They say, don't worry, they're going to be making those available to everyone via limited time universal codes.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. Now,
and I'm hoping the Evolving Wilds is not only available online as part of an event, but also just hidden in the bottom of the Bob Ross arts.
I think it'd be great.
Or just all of the secret.
Is he potatoing for anybody else, or is it just me?
Uh-oh. We lost.
Okay, now they're both potatoing.
What was that?
Okay.
You both are potatoing for me. Is it just me?
Right. Well, you're potatoing for us, so it feels like the problem might be on your end, because I can still get Rube okay and still get you okay.
Okay.
That
so I don't have
said,
anything running.
Okay. Well, sometimes the internet's weird.
Yeah. Who knows?
So beyond the Bob Ross stuff, we move over to Party Hard, Shred Harder.
Wow.
Aaron, you want to take this one?
Yeah, so this was actually previewed by a band called Lacuna Coil, who I've heard of for years. I used to work with somebody who really, really liked them. They are a metal band out of Italy. I know them because 2 of their vocalists are, they have a male and a female vocalist who just pair really well together, and the girl is just so badass. And so they officially previewed this, and this was a very, love it or leave it Lair. Like, the people that love it freaking love it, and they want everything with it. You know, they want shirts, they want posters. You know, I really didn't see any negative feedback on this. The only thing I really saw was the people that were like, it's not for me.
Right.
But I understand who likes this, and God bless them. And so this is really cool. You know, this is Anguished Unmaking, Assassin's Trophy, Decimate, Thraxamundar, and Dreadbore, I believe. And just gorgeous artwork, you know, frames, what frames.
What's a frame? This is by far, in both execution and sort of the subject itself, Wizard has never been so niche. This is easily, clearly an experiment to say, if we go way, way deep into something that is just like, it's got a niche, it's got a very powerful, they love it, evocative niche.
Right.
But if we're just going to shoot that little tiny sliver, we want to go all the way. And by God, they said just go nuts.
I know.
Just
and I feel
forever.
a little bad because I am. These are so cool. These are not for me, right? Because I feel bad because I want them to do more weird crap like this.
I do too.
Like, these are gorgeous.
Yes.
Like, and the cool thing for me is the ones that are going to see play in tournaments are legible. The Assassin's Trophy is easy to read. The Dreadbore is easy to read. The other ones I could care less about.
I mean, Decimate's never making it, so.
Right, Decimate's not making it anywhere. Thraxamundar can be your weird general.
That's your commander, right? Like, that's your cool commander.
So, like, I'm super excited for these. I think they're super cool. This is back to what does a Magic card look like that Ristic Studies was on about for a long time. These don't look like Magic cards. Well, but then again, what does a Magic card look like anymore?
Wizards, one of the tournament rules apparently that still exists is you can't alter the art away from the original illustration or something like that. So
I have my ad nauseums altered, and I remember going to events and having the judge approve them every single time, just because that is something that can happen. Is they can decide that your card has been altered to past a certain degree, and then they won't let you play with them.
Right, we got to get rid of that rule. Like, but with this, Wizards is literally like spitting in the face of that rule. This is absurd.
We can worry about that when paper tournaments start up.
Right,
it's true. And like,
imagine playing like an Invocation Hazaret and like a Thrash Metal Dreadbore and just like nothing that looks like a Magic card in your Magic the Gathering deck.
Right. And you can do that now.
You can essentially play an entire, I think it's Affinity, has all promos. I think the entirety of the 75 of Affinity has promos somewhere one way or the other. So you can have an entire deck that didn't come in Magic the Gathering packs as a high-level tournament deck. And this is just leaning into it even more.
Oh, yeah. Like, as the years have gone on, Wizards has slowly but surely gotten looser and looser with the rules of what does a Magic card look like, where do the mana symbols have to go versus like where you want to go, because this is like mock-up stuff I saw in the early 2000s that you would see on forums and whatnot, and like people just going like basically crazy, and Wizards on the other side going like, that's too nuts, we're making Magic cards here, we're not making this weird art project crap, and somebody just said screw it, just go nuts.
I'm super happy about it too. And I wouldn't, so for example, I'm not going to wear a Cannibal Corpse shirt, right? I'm not going to play these cards in a Magic the Gathering tournament, but I might wear a t-shirt with that Assassin's Trophy on it. You know what I mean? Like, I might cross those streams. If they came out with a hoodie that had that Thraxamundar on the back, like, I might be swayed to buy that.
It's pretty freaking cool. Again, for the aesthetic, they did a great job, and for what I think they're aiming at, every person who loves that freaking is all about it. So good job there. Let's see here. Now, note, you can only get it non-foil.
That's a bummer.
That one's weird.
Why?
Yeah. These ones feel like these should be able to be in foil.
It makes no sense to me. Again, and if this is your experiment, Wizards of the Coast, wouldn't you want to know that the people who like this type of aesthetic were like super hardcore non-foil or super hardcore foil? Don't you need that information? Like, I just don't understand, because beyond the rock stuff, we get to move on here to the next one, and of course, as it's non-foil, it's only $30.
This is peak Ruben right here.
This is peak Rubes.
This is my wheelhouse.
Rubes, tell us about We Hope You Like Squirrels.
Well, we do hope you like squirrels.
It's true. It's true.
There is a new secret lair that is coming in only foil that features 5 magic cards and a squirrel token that are spectacularly adorable. That token looks like it could have come straight out of a Redwall book.
Oh yeah.
But you've got Swarm Yard, you've got Squirrel Mob, you've got Chatter of the Squirrel, which of course was Zach Hill's name previous to going to Wizards. Maybe the cutest thing I've ever seen, this new Squirrel Wrangler, and Crozen Beast, which is terrifying, to say the least. But yeah, all of these cards are super amazing. If you have a squirrel-themed casual deck or commander deck of any kind, these would go right into it all together, and I just love these
Yeah,
so
I do want to
much.
note the flavor text on Squirrel Mob, where they actually talk about the squirrels attacking Emrakul.
Yes.
That is clearly a shout-out to Cardboard Crack, who famously made the comic of the squirrels attacking Emrakul. And so it was a really neat moment for them. CC just recently came back to Magic again, has started putting out content regularly again, and so for them to be like, that I inspired this, that was really cool to see.
That was terrific.
I also really like the new Ron Spencer art for Chatter of the Squirrel, where
Ron Spencer,
one
yes.
squirrel is whispering a secret to another, playing off of that chatter, and then you've got that adorable Squirrel Wrangler that is just...
you also have the flavor text on Chatter of the Squirrel being, some rumors are just plain nuts.
Yeah, some rumors are just plain nuts.
They're just plain
So
nuts.
good.
Well, Squirrel Mob being, quote, I barely escaped with my life. At that number, they could take on Emrakul herself,
Yes.
says Amelia Marana Expeditionary House. So, yeah. All right. So this one, again, is foil only, which is like... Why?
Yeah.
Why do you do this?
I'm surprised these weren't non-foil and the
Right, the metals was foil, right?
were foil.
Because foil, shiny, metal, you get it? Like, doesn't that all make sense? I don't understand. Okay.
But I also I'm glad that Magic understands that people do want squirrels even if they don't put them into traditional sets, because they put them into the unsets, they put them into a secret lair. Like, they are very clearly a popular tribe.
Oh, yeah.
And even if they can't, even if they haven't decided to put them into a, let's call it a serious Magic the Gathering set, I'm glad that they're still leaning into, we get it, everyone likes the squirrels on Magic cards.
Right, and you also get a code for a card sleeve in Arena, and a code during one foil copy of each card in Magic Online for the price of $40. And of course, this is a little weird to me. This is the part of the article where Wizards is trying to upsell you. And when Wizards goes from, we're a game company, we make games, we push those games out to distributors, and off they go out to the world, and you figure out the stuff later, to now Wizards being the salesman, it's a little weird. Because now they're talking about savings and how you can save all this money if you bundle all these things together. For example, if you get the no foils, no nonsense bundle for $100, you save $20. If you get all of the foils instead for $140, you'll save $20. And of course, they want you to buy the big bigs. If you get all the foils, all the non-foils for $230. Savings of 2 exclamation marks, $49.93, y'all.
Okay.
It's funny because I remember a time, and I don't know if it applied to supplemental products, but I remember a time where Wizards didn't talk about money. Like,
Right, never.
specifically when it came to cards. And I remember this even extended into the writing. Like, I remember Bruce Richard and I had a conversation, and he was like, you can't say the cards are expensive. If you were doing coverage, you also couldn't allude to that. Like, you had to be very careful with the way you described things. And so, yeah, to see them just be so blatant when discussing, cost and deals and things like that, it's definitely, we're not in Kansas anymore.
Now,
really
Evan, on a scale of throw these in your closet for 10 years and don't do that, do you have any recommendations for individual sets or the big bundles where you're saving 2 exclamation points, $49.93?
Well, here's what I would say. First of all, let's go ahead and lay down the ground rules of this is a luxury product. This is a luxury collectible. They are making these to be a collectible. That's their job. That's the whole point. Now, them doing it directly, kind of weird, but it's still the point of what they're doing. So if you were to have $230 that you don't need to rent and food and other things, and you have it available, I would highly suggest buying this bundle for $230 and throwing it in the closet. If you can only afford one of them, I would suggest you get the rock bundle
the
thing.
heavy metal one?
The heavy metal thing. Because it is as weird and as niche as it's ever going to get. So either that's going to do super well in Surprise Wizards, or it's not going to do very well, and you're going to have a very rare item. This, to me, is the
other thing about
Godzilla
that
lands.
card,
This is the Eldraine lands. This is the one that no one really, like, it's the ugly duckling. Like, no offense to the people who like it. I just feel that way.
The other thing about that set is that Thraxamundar is going to maintain its value because everyone loves it as a commander.
Right.
Decimate is a commander card. Assassin's Trophy, I feel like, is just going to last forever as a removal spell in all of the Eternal formats. So I feel like that one's a much safer bet just from a cards standpoint, not even taking into account the totally unique and off-the-wall styling.
Right. So I expect the Bob Ross one to be the best-selling one, and that's fine, but they're also going to be the most widely available, so they're going to be the cheapest, and I think the Rock one is going to be the more rare part, and it's going to be a good one. But if you can afford it, I mean, I don't know what to say. You can go back and look at the last year of Secret Lair. Like, go back and check it out. The OMG Kitties thing is, like, stupidly expensive now.
Yeah.
And almost all of them... Oh, yeah, it's like $230 or something.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's stupid. And it may not be that high, but I looked many weeks ago, and that's what it was. So
crazy.
Either way, these things are collectibles for the collectible market, and if you believe in them and you want to save them and put them in a closet, I think it's a good idea because I've seen what they've done so far. And I'd also note, because we are sponsored by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can buy cool stuff in stock every day. This week, Black Friday week, we have double Masters boxes on sale for $240, and that's also a nice buy it, throw it in the closet, thank me in 5 years.
A lot of you are watching, I'm sure, recorded on CoolStuffInc.com.
There you go.
Where you can find cool stuff in a day. And you should definitely do that.
Yeah, it's a good deal. So, all right. I think that is all of them, and that's all the bundles that we can talk about. So, good luck.
So those are for the rest of the year, right?
Those were going to be from November 30th through December 14th.
Okay, cool.
That's the buy window. So get it while the getting's good. Yes, this is Wizards. Totally.
Oh yeah.
You know,
this is Cyber Monday, Black Friday.
They're preying on your
shopping
FOMO
stuff. Yeah.
This is fear of missing out 101. And I mean, God bless them. It's a sales tactic, and it's working. Like, they're selling lots of them. So whatever, man. At some point, you got to go.
At least you're getting something cool.
They're just making collectibles, dude. So, like, I think the Seb thing is great. And, like, you can hate on that, but, like, isn't it cool that exists? You know what I mean? Like, it just blows my mind. Anyway, let's move on here to gathering up the townsfolk. We've spoken all about that stuff. It turns out that when you sell alpha paintings these days, they go for
money.
A lot of dollars. Let me tell you. You want to go ahead and take it in?
Yeah, so the
number is... I didn't even see that number. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the 5 original alpha paintings sold for a combined $483,600. Demonic Tutor alone sold for $168,000. So this is Demonic Tutor, Contract from Below. Remember Ante? Remember when Magic had Ante? JM Daitome, Mana Flare, and Fear was all for sale. Ridiculous. JM Daitome sold for $114. Mana Flare sold for only $78. Contract from Below sold for $78, and Fear sold for a measly $45,600. Like,
Paltry. Yeah, this is like showing you the power. Like in July 2018, Charizard sold for $72,000, and like the world was shocked at that price. Yeah, they're not shocked anymore.
And can I just say on an unrelated note, it brings me so much joy. There's a lot of darkness right now, and we all need hope where we can get it. It brings me so much joy to know that Kai and Phil Foglio are still together. They're both on Twitter. They're both still just as crazy.
If those two crazy kids can make it,
exactly. And so I stumbled upon Kai's feed this morning, and I was just like, that would have broken my heart. Like, that would have been just the nail in the coffin of 2020, where it's like love. You know how sometimes when celebrity breakups happen and they always say like love is dead? That would be my love is dead.
Right.
Where it's like,
well, the Foglios are the Miracle Max and Valerie of the Magic the Gathering art world.
I love
and
them.
So to see them still kicking it is great. But yeah, this number, $168,000, that is
That's
absurd number. That is like that is crazy.
As Magic continues onward, like the game continues to, everything around the game, between the people who like it and love it, the people who are sort of trying to be sort of historians about it, the collectors of it, the people who get into big money later because like they played it when they were young and now they have the .com dollars. Like all that stuff kind of rolls together. That's the same reason, like for example, right now, Pokemon is completely exploding. We're talking the booster boxes are selling for MSRP, and that just doesn't really happen. And,
I muted Pokemon as a word the other day because it was just
it just got completely nuts. And I mean, but it's and of course the distributors are sold out. You know, like you can't get any more.
I don't know. I do have to wonder though. I do wonder if we will not we, but like I do wonder if the art that's coming out nowadays will ever fetch the same prices. Like, is Uro going to ever attract $168,000? Is Oko? I do wonder if some of these cards are going to be as timeless.
So the new, what was the Lotus card from John Avon?
Jewel Lotus?
The Lotus Field.
Lotus Field sold for $33,000 or $34,000,
and that was a standard card. That was just a boost pack.
Maybe not 160,000.
But I think as the years go on, the more iconic the card, the more the iconic the art price is going to be. I think that's a result.
I don't know. I just don't see these cards having the same legacy.
I agree.
To that.
I mean, they don't have the same gravitas.
Sure. I mean, beyond. I mean, you can see here we got Jam Day Tome sold for $114,000, which was right behind Demonic Tutor. Man Flare behind it, Contract behind it, and Fear behind it. Like those are literally like the power rankings of all these cards, right? So that will always follow in the auctions when Jace the Mind Sculptor is finally auctioned off for God knows how much money. Yeah. It's probably going to be the highest selling thing that's on there because that's just kind of how it works. But yeah, all these paintings a couple years ago cost $2,000, now cost 10 plus. It's crazy. But yeah, the art market is just going completely insane. Our friends at Desert Bus did another successful run, which was great. Their viewership was far lower. However, they still raised $986,000 for the Child's Play charity. So congratulations to them.
Yeah. Desert Bus has been going on for just forever, and they streamed for 164 hours from the comfort of their own homes because from a medically recommended safe distance this time. Right. So we had to do a virtual bus ride. Mm-hmm. Incredible work, still putting on the program, Child's Play Charity, and the rest of the crew up there putting together the Desert Bus for Hope. I'm just so pleased that they were able to actually do it this year.
Yeah, and if you want to see an example of like what that money is doing, go talk to Robert Schuster on Twitter. Rob is a friend of the show, works for Wizards of the Coast. His daughter Emmy has spent a lot of time in Seattle hospitals and has personally benefited from Child's Play and from the work that this money goes towards. And so, it definitely is needed. Especially in our economy and the way healthcare goes, that money is much needed. And so, it's a great organization, great cause, and great to see that they were able to persevere through everything. Thanks for the gift subs, Rabies. That's very lovely of you.
Appreciate that. How thankful we are of that. Let me tell you, good wishes here sent to Mike Sigrist, who's had some medical issues recently.
Ooh, sure.
And he's kind of freaking me out here. I don't have the full scope of the health issue in particular, but I'm hearing the word surgery thrown around, and there's bleeding and stuff going on. So, but I'm also hearing of positive things and good diagnoses. So I'll take that as a good thing.
Well, I mean, Mike has health issues of his own. It says he was diagnosed with compensated liver cirrhosis, but his wife's on the front lines. It's my understanding his wife is a nurse. They're also dealing with 2 small children. Mike has pre-existing conditions from what I can see. And so he's talking about the sacrifices they need to make. And so this is another example. If you are still one of those people that is looking at what is happening and thinking, I don't know anybody dealing with this isn't happening. He's telling you like, hey, you know me, and I'm telling you this is a thing. We are real people. This is how it's affecting our family, and you are not immune to this. And so literally. And so, he's detailing the fact that he, stays in his own bed with the door shut because, his wife has had contacted people at work and, he cannot risk getting it. They don't want to make sure their children don't get it as well. Even just going to the hospital for, the procedures that he needs and what he's dealing with. And so, he just wants you to know that this is what real people are going through. And, if you won't listen to reporters, you won't listen to nameless people anywhere else, this is a name that maybe you'll recognize and maybe you'll listen to.
Yeah, maybe if you understand that he is the kind of person that thinks things through strategically, mathematically, analytically, and that he has come to this decision, perhaps you will follow in his footsteps, that we all stay separate right now so that when we gather once again, no one's missing.
Yeah.
And I hope that Mike Sigrist is able to, and his family are able to come out the other side of this altogether.
Absolutely. So good luck to him, obviously. And moving on here to Oliver 2.
Friend of the show, Oliver too.
Only so many people have cussed me out in this world.
Big fan of the show.
Giant
Oliver
fan.
too.
Huge fan of me in particular. Yeah, Evan Irwin fanboy over here. But he did know his big announcement that in a few weeks he's going to begin working as an associate game designer for Magic. He's going to miss playing.
Like 18?
He's very young.
He's young, but he's not. I don't think he's 18.
I think he's like 20, early 20s these days.
Kids,
but
okay.
I know there's definitely children. But going to miss playing competitive MTG, but looking forward to the next chapter in their life. So obviously, good luck to them.
Yeah.
You know, bygones are bygones. It's cool. It's fine.
Hey,
that happened. We move on.
Extremely talented player, former Rookie of the Year, finished in the top 16 of back-to-back Pro Tours. He's made a bunch of top 8s of Grand Prix. Extremely good at Magic the Gathering. Great analytical thinker. Not a surprise that R&D has decided to snap up Oliver, and I wish him the best of luck.
There you go. I want to note here before we move on to Desperate Ravings that yes, that was 4 of Rograkh, son of Rograkh. In a vintage deck.
8 mocks. Wait, how many mocks are in this deck?
No, this was Legacy?
Let me take a look.
Or was this
Looks
even
like Legacy to me.
Yeah, this was
this is Legacy because there's a GT.
Well, it has Karakas in it, yeah. So it's at least Legacy. No, this isn't. I don't think this is vintage because they're using Mox Amber. If
You're right. This is
Legacy.
Legacy.
This is a Legacy deck.
So this made 5-0 in a Legacy Gauntlet or whatever.
So it looks like
League.
a red-white Legacy deck that's based on legendary creatures. So you have Thalia, Zergo, Bellstriker, Kithion. We've seen versions of this in Modern that tend to use the white Urza's board wipe because you get rid of all non-legendary things.
Right.
And so Rograkh, when you pair with Mox Amber, that's another legendary that counts for that. And so you can then do dumb things with that and just Smuggler's Copter it and just, ugh.
I mean, did you know what Hero's Blade did? Like, I had forgotten.
I'm vaguely aware of what Heroes Blade. What about Paradise Mantle? You got that one on lock in your brain?
Paradise Mantle, I think, because back in the Affinity days, they used to run that. But
this deck is a Stoneforge Mystic deck. This deck is designed with 4 Goblin Engineer, 4 Stoneforge Mystic. This is designed to get equipment onto your creatures very quickly and try to hit with a Sword of Feast and Famine, Sword of Fire and Ice very quickly.
Meanwhile, Opposition Agent seems to be good against Doomsday. I've heard really good reports from people in Vintage who've tested that. Hull Breacher, they can't get enough Hull Breacher as well. The card is making a huge impact too. So it's neat to see, and people predicted that Rograkh would do something. We just didn't really know what it was. And so it's neat to see these cards finding homes in other formats.
You know what? If what Rograkh does is make Boros aggro playable, good on you. I'm on board.
You did a good job with
You got Zergo, Bellstriker, Isamaru, the good puppy, and Rograkh, son of Rogah, in a deck together. That's good, clean living. I'm super on board.
Champions of Kamigawa Rares winning in Legacy, by God.
That's right.
That's what we need.
Make
not the
Mox
betrayers.
Amber playable. That's what we need.
Okay.
That's right. All right. Let's move on here to some Desperate Ravings.
Oh, boy.
Sometimes... Look, every day there's a main character on Twitter. And your goal in life is to never be that main character. And sometimes you make mistakes. And a friend of the show, Cool Stuff Inc. Content creator, Aintrazi. Great dude. But one who does make the mistakes like we all do.
The occasional misstep.
The occasional, as it happens. And I was there for this one. Where he advocated, or at least he announced, he said, "Hey, hope everybody has fun this week. I'm going to get together with my family on Thanksgiving, and we'll see you guys later." Upon which time, I learned I was not paying close enough attention to Mr. Ali to note that he had went to London in October.
Yeah, so the timeline goes like this. So he went to England to visit his sweetheart in late October, which I didn't even know you could do. Like
I didn't think they would let you,
travel
right?
restrictions that you couldn't leave or you couldn't be let in or something.
I didn't think they
so
let
he goes to
people from
visit
our country
Homegirl, and then at some point, either there or after, he gets COVID. Like actual factual, he has it. He is sick. He cannot stream. He has all the symptoms. Presumably, he beats it, and then he says after that, "I'm going to have a party with my family." And so people were like, "Wait a minute, girl! Like you spent the last couple of weeks making some really poor choices. Why are you doing this?"
And the good news is that we learn from our mistakes. The best that we can hope for is that you take input and internalize it and come out with the right decision. And it seems that the right decision was come to.
Now, in the middle of that, right, in the middle of that was the internet, like, when you make a mistake on the internet, they're not going to politely and conversely explain to you what might have gone wrong there. And instead, it's from the top rope. It's memes. It's like, you're the worst person ever, and how dare you do this, and aren't you an idiot?
I don't think that either party was really right here. There was one person in particular who kind of spearheaded, the charge against him. And, we talked about this before. It's obvious that, there's a way to, are you trying to educate somebody and are you genuinely concerned about them? Or, are you concerned with the dunk factor and things like that? And, if you really want a good example, I really like the way that Frank Lepore broached this, where after Ali had posted the tweet, Frank was like, buddy, I love you, but this is not where you want to be. And if the person has a DM button, if you have any other sort of relationship with them, you can absolutely pass that feedback on. But I think the way that it was done, I didn't look at that and think this is somebody who genuinely cares about Ali and his family. To me, it looked like somebody who was just after a dunk. And so I understand why Ali was like, what's going on here? And eventually, and I think even you had said, Evan, that you had privately had been like, Ali,
right, well, because he's one of my content producers, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, he's a big representative of Cool Stuff, and so we have done everything we could possibly at Cool Stuff to be as responsible as possible. And I was like, hey, buddy, again, it's like, come from love and sincerity. I've known Ali for 12-something years now. Yeah. Known him a long time. Dude, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I just want you to understand the situation.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that, shaming doesn't work. This binary idea that, you're either all in or you're not. We saw that with the AIDS epidemic. This idea of just don't have sex. That'll never happen. And so, but what we can do is we can give you the tools to have the safest form of sex possible or the safest form of activity possible. And so, I just, like I said, just neither party I wasn't rooting for anybody in this case, but, ultimately he did come around, and it does sound like people who, do care about him were able to get through to him, and he was able to kind of take it back. So that's a good thing.
Right. And he canceled the event, and he announced that he did that, and he announced that he was wrong and took responsibility for that.
And look, everybody's Thanksgiving is going to be different this year. And so it's going to be it's a weird time for all of us. Right. I am going to my aunt and uncle's house for Thanksgiving. ... We are sitting out on the porch. The aunt and uncle that I've lived with, that I see regularly, we're staying separate and doing it all outside. We're not saying that you aren't allowed to socialize, that you're not allowed to have socially distant, safe meetings together. But there's a difference between meeting with, 3 family members outside, responsible, wearing masks, and going to a Thanksgiving celebration like you typically do with 10, 12, 15 people.
And somebody like Aaron who can't go outside because it's negative whatever out there.
Well, that too.
And you would die.
35 here. It's rained for 2 days straight. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of the outside, get-togethers and eating outside and things like that. And, I definitely think context matters when you're talking about... I saw a really neat thread the other day that was talking about risk budget and how everybody has a budget of risk that they're willing to spend or willing to take on. And so, I do think these conversations do involve context. I don't think it's as simple as just stay at home for 6 months and keep track of the days on the wall. I don't think that's an answer either. But
humans are not designed to survive that way.
Yeah. So. The thing that frustrated me about this thing in particular was the people who had, after Ali had come back and said, look, I own this, I shouldn't have done that, I canceled the event, everybody stay safe, and they're like, I'm not going to ever let him live this down. It's like, dude, I don't think you can literally ask for better.
And
he
at that
screwed
point,
up,
they're not genuinely concerned with being better and helping you be better, and you really don't need to care what those people think. And
they're
how I respond
chasing.
to that. So
it just hurt me. I'm like, man, look, the guy did something wrong, had a bad reaction, got talked to by his friends in private, came out and said he was wrong. Like, what else are you looking for, man?
What better? And we're gonna have the same conversation in a month when everyone is like, I'm going home for Christmas.
Oh yeah, Christmas is gonna be it's going to be even worse because
it's going to be worse because it's everybody,
now,
not just Americans.
Yeah. Right. The super spreader event we're doing right now is going to cause Christmas to be that much worse. Just wait 2 weeks. So I'm a little scared. But anyway, we moved on. All right, so we get to watch a video of someone getting pied. Isn't that great?
Thank
yes.
Goodness.
Niv Biscuit.
I don't know if Niv's in the chat tonight.
Doing it all for the biscuit. Let me see. Are they here?
Let Let me pull it up here for you.
Not in the chat.
Now, as you may or may not remember, I did have a pie bet with many of our wonderful fans and listeners, where I said, look, this is what, March, April? I was like, look, guys, I enjoy the pie and the sky, but you're not getting an Arena mobile client this year. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, no.
Some people took me up on it, like himself, and now we have this video to watch right here.
Excellent news. Very excited. It's just like good production. Oh my gosh. It's got good elasticity on that pie, too.
Yeah.
That is good. That is just good content.
All right, so that was a lot of fun. So congratulations for being a man of his word. You got a pie in the face.
Oh, is that like an actual factual pie?
I believe so.
Wow.
It looked very pie-ish to me.
It didn't look like it had crust.
Okay.
But I will say, using shaving cream instead of using like a sugar-based actual pie, A, cheaper, B, much easier to clean. Because when I got pied, and I had like graham cracker in my hair for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
And it was not great.
So that pie video was like, boop, and then my pie video was like, break your nose, smashing to the face.
So, no, when the three of us get together,
Yeah.
we are trying to ruin each other's moneymakers because
The
we
anger
are
is coming out, yeah.
Oh yeah, because we're like, haha, you're wrong. Also, trip to the hospital. If you're doing it at home, I like the soft, the soft hand. Just place the pie on the face. That's all we're hoping for.
Ruben, this is a family show.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Goodness gracious. Well, look, we got to keep moving here. All I'm saying is thanks for all those who did participate, and feel free to tag us
And
if you do any more pie bets.
If you do future pie bets to pay us back, tag us and we'll play it on the show.
We'll put you in the show.
Dozens of fans.
Let me tell you. So there was an article on MTG Goldfish about the arena economy. The arena economy, when compared to paper, the arena economy when compared to Magic Online, is freakishly more expensive. After
Really?
spending $150 in Kaladesh Remastered product, he was 1/3 of the way to completing a set of Kaladesh Remastered Mythics. That's 33 of the 88, so 37.
Oh my god, like most of this post is comments. I saw the really thin slider bar and I was like, oh, he must have wrote a really long article. Oh no, it's all feedback.
Oh yeah, and he'd need to spend about $400 in order to get a full set of everything. Well, it would cost $236 at current TCG mid prices to get a playset of all 22 Kaladesh Remastered Mythics in paper, and on Magic Online, it's the joke of $17 to get all 88 Mythics. So you start to put this thing together of like Historic, for what it's worth, is a super cool format. I'm actually really loving Historic.
Heard, yeah.
I've had a really good time with it. It's been really sweet. But you start to hit this thing where I need the fast lands from Kaladesh. I need my Bomat Couriers. I need my Soulscar Mages. I need the other random rares and mythics that just come out of nowhere. Jumpstart came out of nowhere. That's another bunch of mythics and rares that you might want to play with. I crafted the mythic Unicorn to play in the Historic Brawl event, which was really sweet. But again, that's a whole other product that you had to put a whole bunch of other money into in order to get the rares and mythics there. And how long is this actually sustainable, essentially? The average player, going to be able to spend $300 to $400 on Kaladesh Remastered? Like, how much are you spending per set? How much are you spending per month?
That's the thing is, we were talking about this during the pre-show. I don't know how much people plan to, or how much they plan out, how much they spend on any given hobby over the course of a year. All hobbies are expensive. You're going to spend some amount of money on your WoW subscription, on your LARP gear. Like,
well, you may have a nice PC to run said WoW.
Exactly. You're investing in your computer. You're investing in fashion. You're investing in whatever, in your sports equipment, whatever your hobby is. And so Magic, I think a lot of people have one budget for Magic, as opposed to two budgets, one or three budgets even, online, arena, live, right? And I think that especially because we're in this lockdown where people aren't playing live Magic, that the magnifying glass on how much money you're spending on arena is that much more focused. As long as you're budgeting, you're doing okay. However, the crux of this article isn't the player side, it's the company side. That it costs more money dollars to donuts
Right.
to collect all of the Magic cards on Arena than it does in real life, if I'm understanding
Right.
correctly.
And freakishly lower when you look at Magic Online. Yes.
Right. And so it is interesting because the Magic Arena economy was designed in such a way, my impression, to be easier to get into.
Here's the fix. Now, we keep bending towards this. I don't know how long Wizards are going to resist it, but this is the fix. The fix is letting us buy wild cards. You have to let me buy, for some amount of dollars, some amount of gems, 10 rare wild cards. Is that worth $20? I don't know. How much are 5 mythic or 8 mythic rares worth? I don't know. But you can't buy them right now. All you can do is buy a bunch of packs and hope to get wild cards in them, or use that little wild card counter thing in the top right while you're opening the packs, or hoping that the vault/treasure chest thing that only counts commons and uncommons now for some ungodly reason that is happening in the background that you never even see is somehow going to pay out sooner than later. Like,
yeah.
That's a weird mystery box of, I hope I throw enough money in it to get what I want out of it. Like other card games have shown, you can sell these wild cards directly. Excuse me. And it works, just like Legends of Runeterra. They do that all day. And they limit you to so many per week, which I think is cool because, you can't just kind of get the whole thing and then just kind of like, kind of splurge on it and then you're done. Instead, you can kind of parse out week by week, and they're very giving in the rewards and blah, blah, blah. But like the point is, it's really expensive to try to sort of keep up with the Joneses when it comes to Arena. And that's that. So, moving on here, we don't have a ton of time, but the Magic LATAM challenge apparently was just a gigantic cluster. Is that what I'm getting here?
So, this was a lot of finger pointing.
Oh boy, my favorite.
Between the tournament organizer and the software people, and there was a bunch of, it's their fault going on. But yeah, basically it was postponed, I think, or canceled after round 3.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of consternation on social media about it.
Wow. Yeah, it was, as far as I can tell, it was a hot mess.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at the Reddit thread here. So first there was a deadline to submit your deck list. Players waited until the last moment to ask how to do it, or just didn't. After the deadline, some players were dropped and registration opened for those on the waiting list for a second deadline. This caused backlash from those who didn't and were eliminated for not submitting their decks sometimes. Then, less than 5 minutes before the tournament starts, there were players asking in the Discord how many rounds are we going to play. So it sounds like a lot of this was user error of just people not really doing their homework, not really knowing what they signed up for. MTG Melee marked the start time, and hell broke loose for the organization. The site went down instantly, and so so maybe it was both people.
It sounded like a little bit of Fire Festival happening. Just all of the tent poles all collapsed in on itself at the same time. It's unfortunate. It didn't sound like there was a huge fallout from it after. It was just
but this is an audience that is underserved. We've talked about how Latin America doesn't get very many events already, and doesn't always get product, and so they deserve to have nice events too. And so it's a bummer that one of the few big events or big-ish events they got just didn't really happen, whether it was for user error or MTG Melee error. It's still a bummer.
Yeah, agreed.
For sure. And it's unfortunate when things kind of just go completely sideways, but maybe they'll plan it better for next time.
Evan, we got it. We teased it at the beginning of the show, so we got to talk about Hot Pockets real quick.
Well, we can talk. Oh yes, we won't skip the Hot Pockets. I'm not quite there yet. I do want to know.
It's in the splash damage.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Let's see here. So, was looking at Wizard of the Coast Gatherer, because one of the things that came up from Cedric Phillips this week is that he was like, yo, I want to see what's in Historic. It goes to Gatherer. There's no Historic format option in Gatherer.
I haven't used Gatherer since Scryfall became a thing. So.
Well, at some point, Gatherer begins to be an embarrassment. Like, Wizards, you are providing 223 pixels by 310 pixels in the year of our Lord 2020 for your cards. Are you insane? What is wrong?
Literal millions of dollars onto commission.
Millions of bucks to commission these awesome products, these incredible cards, but it would require for someone to spend time and resources on Gatherer, and Wizards doesn't like that. Gatherer is like this weird old relic, and it just exists, and it's got problems, and it's had problems for years, and nobody wants to fix them, and nobody does fix them, and it doesn't seem like anyone ever cares, and they still give you 223 by 310 pixels. set after set, year after year, they just farming out to Scryfall. The poor people who don't know that Scryfall exists makes me sad.
Even I've converted to Scryfall. Like I primarily use it now.
It's not even close. It's not even close. It never was. MagicCards.info used to be essentially what Scryfall was, and they turned into Scryfall. And Robert's your father's brother, but like seriously, Cedric have the same problem that anyone else would have, which is Wizards creates formats and doesn't actually support them in what you describe as their official Magic card database, which is insane. Okay, we got to get to a few things in splash damage, one of them being Hot Pockets. However, first of all, we cannot get around the fact that Wizards is in another lawsuit.
Right.
With Gale Force 9 over RPG products.
Now I know why they're selling all these secret layers. They got legal fees to pay.
Yeah, they do. Boys got a lawyer. Lawyer up.
So Gale Force 9 sued Magic for a cool $950,000 plus fees. So they're going for about $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
Based on a breach of contract between the two companies. Gale Force 9 does a bunch of subcontracting and distribution. Essentially, this is for a license in, I think, Korea.
Breach of contract, breach of implied duty of good faith and fair dealing and declaratory relief and temporary injunctive relief. Ooh.
Yeah. Wizards, basically they did the same thing they did with the Dragonlance stuff, which they just stopped approving products.
Right, yeah.
Oh, is this the same deal?
Yeah, so it says it wanted to end its licenses a year early on December 31st, 2020 instead of December. So it sounds like there was a licensing agreement in place, and then Wizards just let them know they didn't want to do it no mo. And then after no agreement was reached on an early termination, GF9 alleges that WotC stopped approving products for release in international markets where GF9 had translation and distribution rights. So you can't just stop doing something that you're contractually obligated to do because you don't want to no mo. That's not how this works.
And they've done this for 12 years, as they note here. So this is 12 years of making stuff, approving stuff, making stuff, approving stuff. And so when Wizards all of a sudden says, nah, dog, I'm out, you're not getting that approved. Well, they probably have a ton of stuff printed, already in line, already been worked on, because this relationship has gone on for so long.
I think something it's possible something really big upheaval-wise happened in July of this year at Wizards, because there was a point, there was a line in the sand point where it's everything started collapsing. People stopped getting messages back, me being one of them. Companies stopped getting contracts. Contractors stopped getting responses. Something happened in this past summer that was started because of the shutdown. Everything got thrown into flux and everything went weird. But I feel like that a huge number of a huge amount of turnover happened right in the middle of this year. And they're not only is it, I think a lot of this is just stuff lying fallow. A lot of this stuff is, we've just literally forgot to send out contracts. We literally don't have the number of people in the office to approve all this stuff. Now, some of these are going to be $1 million mistakes, like with Gale Force 9. So I'm hoping that this is just ignorance and not malice.
Yeah, this is real dumb. As a company, to just leave a partner hanging, and then the partner goes, "Hey, I've got all this stuff I need to sell. You said it was cool to sell," and then you just say, "No. Not okay to sell anymore." What is going on?
Especially for a subsidiary of Hasbro. If Wizards of the Coast was its own little mom and pop shop, I'd be okay, maybe they're trying to get something over on people. But as a subsidiary of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, this is just amateur kind of
it's just
stuff.
Odd. And the Dragonlance stuff, I heard maybe they had problems with the content of it, right? There was a lot of content shake up a couple years ago or something. Maybe, I don't know. At least that made a little bit of sense. But then this comes out of nowhere and you're why did you do this?
And we'll never know.
We're all
just hypothesizing what actually happened, but
it'll likely get settled out of court and then we'll never hear about it anyway. Blah, blah, blah. All right, y'all. We got to it. It's time for Hot Pockets, y'all. HotPocketsForBits.com exists.
Jesus Christ.
HotPocketsForBits.com. Listen, you get out your Richard Kramer stock info portfolio. Get ready to diversify your bonds,
ladies and gentlemen,
and invest in Hot Pockets.
Hot Pockets has provided a way for you to buy Hot Pockets, scan the receipt, the proof of purchase into an app, and then they will give you bits back. I'm going to bring this up on the screen so you guys can take a look at it. And so unless I'm incorrect, because I looked up the price for me for a box of 17 Hot Pockets was about $14.30 something like that. Say $14.50. And they say here that if you get a 15 to 17 count Hot Pockets box, they'll give you 2,500 bits.
Right.
Which means
for $14.97.
Yeah, let's say $15. Round it up. Who cares? For $15, they'll give you $25 in bits.
Right.
Now,
so you can literally buy a box of Hot Pockets for $15.
Yes.
Throw the Hot Pockets away.
Yes.
And make $10 if you were going to buy bits anyway.
Yes. As I read it. And the only thing that I can tell that actually puts a stopgap on all this is that there's a certain number of bits they're going to do this for, and that's all. But because this program just started, supposed to run through the end of January, I can imagine that the vault's pretty big right now. So, as Magic players, and you tell yourself as a Magic player, if I'm going to go out and buy $1,500 worth of Hot Pockets and I get $2,500 back, and I literally just made $1,000, and I could take those Hot Pockets and just throw them in the trash.
Okay, no,
that's what I'm saying.
Say, as somebody who grew up poor and went to food pantries, give your Hot Pockets to food pantries.
Correct.
Food
And
don't do that.
Don't just throw away your Hot Pockets. More importantly,
but
call your food pantry ahead of time and say, listen, how big is your freezer?
How big is your freezer?
How many Hot
playing.
Pockets are you prepared to accept right now? I got my truck out back.
Right. You think I'm not going to try this? And as all Magic players, you should try this.
We're talking about it like it's a joke, but it's not.
This feels
literally
like a get-rich-quick scheme that Sophia on the Golden Girls would try, and we're going to end up owing a mobster named Tony No Thumbs. Like, I see how this is going.
I know.
Like,
I'm going to end up with truckfuls of Hot Pockets outside.
I think this actually happened on Golden Girls. Sophia had discovered like a Costco-type place, and she started buying everything in bulk, and she had like 47 toothbrushes and other things she couldn't unload.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this episode is Evan unloading just crates, just pallets of Hot Pockets.
You think
in
I
the
won't?
middle of the night?
All good spikes out there are thinking the exact same thing. Don't act like you're not. I know you are.
I mean, World of Warcraft
this has
did just
my-
come out, so if you need a food to get you through, a couple weeks of leveling, you just eat your Hot Pockets.
This
And let
reminds
them
me
pay
of
you $10 for the privilege.
there was a couple in the 90s who got famous because they bought like thousands of boxes of cereal for the airline miles.
Yeah.
And then they donated the cereal to charity, got all of that as a tax write-off, and then got like 500,000 airline miles and got paid to do it. This feels very similar. Now, the problem is that Hot Pockets require refrigeration and freezing, and so doing it in bulk is going to be a problem. But if you're able, if you got one of them transit vans and some refrigeration, there is money to be made here. In bits.
Yeah. Evan, you think I won't, Erwin? You think I won't? You act like me, as a Magic player who min-maxes are min-maxing, would not see this and say,
you can give your bits.
$10?
First of all, you can give your bits to us. Give your bits to us, obviously.
We would love free bits.
Or you can just give your bits to your own Twitch stream.
Yeah.
And cash out later.
Yes, make a second account. Like, put the bits, give the bits. This is classic.
I live in an apartment
classic
building. I
Magic
cannot
player
store
stuff.
them in my yard.
Listen,
Sure you can.
hotpocketsforbits.com, and if you want to do that, I got some.
I swear.
Got some other pyramid schemes for you.
Someone says it's against the Twitch terms of service.
Oh no, don't do that. Okay, all right. So that's crazy.
What is?
Well, now I can't buy $1,000 worth of Hot
What's
Pockets
against
anymore.
the Twitch service?
Now, I think we need more information.
Yeah, I'm just
What's
being
against
silly.
is buying Hot Pockets against the Twitch terms of service?
I don't know. The grift is probably incorrect, as you would expect. So don't grift the freaking site. I'm just
I
being
can see
silly.
it now. So, Aaron, what happened? What happened to the collapse
How did we
of
get
Magic
kicked
Mike's?
off of
Was it
Twitch?
interpersonal
Yeah, our account's gonna be
drama?
deleted tomorrow.
Was it, what was it? And it's like, well, Evan
Financial
got this
advice
idea to buy a
centering on
bunch of Hot
Pocket
Pockets.
bucks.
And now we're not on Twitter anymore, Twitch anymore.
Yeah, you know what sank the show? Hot Pockets sank the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, it sank David Levitt.
Let me tell you. Look, all I'm
That
saying
don't
is,
float no mo.
I'm just, we're all being silly. But this is like the plot of Punch Drunk Love and the other silly stuff.
This is like when in Office Space when they were like shaving a cent off of the top of every investment. This is the plot. This is that, but with Hot Pockets.
Crazy. All right, let's move on here to the finisher. Nothing says Thanksgiving quite like a bountiful cornucopia of delicious and fattening. Magic the Gathering. So as we Americans revive the spirit of first Thanksgiving in 2020 by carrying disease to new areas, Jesus, Ruben, tell me, what Magic memory from this year are you most thankful for, Ruben?
What? Never mind.
It's too real, man. It's too
Is that
real.
too real? Is that too much? The recent spate of secret lairs are so up my alley that I'm expecting a parking ticket. And I'm especially thankful for the little guys that have supported me the whole time that I've been making content. Ever since I was a bright-eyed and bushy-tailed youngin', they've always had my back. So I'm most thankful for you all, my squirrel friends, who I know I can count on to not think that I'm that nuts.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Now I'm going to have the girlfriends theme in my head. My squirrel friends. Like, oh, my God.
Aaron?
Well, I'm incredibly thankful for the one game that I can always count on to make me happy. The one game that'll always be there when I'm feeling lonely, because it's all about coming together. The one game I know will always be there for me, World of Warcraft Shadowlands. Be there.
Wow.
Be there.
Wow. Well, in this year when everything is turned upside down and we can't reasonably celebrate this most traditional of holidays in a traditional manner, I am thankful for this hobby we have because I'm of course thankful for Magic, but I'm even more thankful for the Gathering.
Amen.
That's right.
Yes.
And I'm thankful for you too. We appreciate all you wonderful viewers and listeners for doing the same. But that ends another episode, a live episode of Magic Mics. Thanks for joining us here to discuss all things Magic. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you for having me. Before we go, this weekend is Command Fest. I will be playing all weekend long, so if you want to get a game in with me, be sure to hit me up on Discord or Twitch or Twitter, assuming I don't have you blocked. I'd love to play a game with you all.
Yeah, like guess you're Bob Ross, but then there's no. It's blocked. Can't
But
get
I'm
through.
glad I found out about. I had to find out about the Bob Ross thing somehow. I haven't blocked, so.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Thank you, Ruben.
Thank you, and have a lovely Thanksgiving, and stay safe.
Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Please don't have large gatherings, please. We like you. We want you to come back next week and the week after that, and we'll see you then. All right, we're here to our final slide. I want to thank our sponsor, CoolStuffInc.com, our co-sponsor, CardHoarder.com, my co-hosts, Aaron Campbell and Ruben Bressler. You guys for watching and listening. I hope you support us at Patreon.com/MagicMics. Please follow, like, tweet, favorite, share, subscribe to everything social that tells people we exist. Catch us online on our Discord, Twitch.tv at Magic Mics, on Twitter at Magic Mics Cast, our Magic Mics subreddit, and like the Magic Mics page on Facebook. Or just join us here next week, same time, same place, for another episode of